Hey guys, what's up? I'm Zach. Welcome to Zach's Soapbox. This is the video for the week of Friday, September 5th, 2025. Hello everyone, I'm Zach. Welcome to my Soapbox, my little corner of YouTube where once a week I get on here, speak my mind, talk about whatever I want to talk about. It's a mishmash of topics. You never know what I'm quite going to talk about. And so I just want to thank everyone for the like, comments, and shares on this video. I got a new hat since I seen you last. My birthday presents started rolling in for my birthday present in July. This is the Soviet Marshal's cap, but it's a white one. But anywho, thanks everyone for the like, comment, and share. Please feel free to like, comment, and share on this video. It really helps out the channel. You know what I mean? And organically helps spread it around. So be sure to leave a comment, like, share, or anything in the comments. You know, I read them all. I appreciate y'all. But anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Today's topic is depression. And the reason I picked this topic is because a lot of people that kind of talk about depression, they go, oh, what are you sad for? And what they don't understand is it's more than sadness. It's anxiousness. It's a lack of interest. It's lack of motivation. It's a sense of worthlessness. It's a sense of hopelessness. Sadness is kind of an emotion that lasts a few days. Like, let's say you break up with a girlfriend, you lose a job, death of a loved one, things like this. That's sadness. Depression is when it lasts longer than, say, 2 weeks. And depression is, I don't want to be here anymore, I want to fucking die. So there's a clear difference between depression and sadness. My last serious bout with depression was about 5 years ago. I was going to kill myself, and I was going to hang myself in the bathroom with a belt, and I have a handicap bathroom, so I was going to hang a belt over a handicap bar and just lean forward. Obviously, I didn't go through with it, or I wouldn't be here and talking to you right now. But, you know, I've suffered from depression and dealt with depression and different thoughts and feelings all of my life. And so I want to do a video on depression. You know, people go, snap out of it, you know, or things like that. But it's like, that's really tone deaf. So depression, it's more than just sadness. It's anxiousness, it's anxiety, it's lack of interest, lack of motivation, a sense of worthlessness, a sense of hopelessness. Another thing, like I said, depression tends to linger and last 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 6 months. Whereas sadness, oh, I was sad when my dog died or something like that, or sad when I lost a job. Whoa, but if it lasts longer than, say, 3 months, it kind of goes into depression, doesn't it? Another thing nobody talks about with depression is depression can affect your sleeping, eating, and habits, you know, the way you interact with other people. You become a lot less social when you're truly depressed, a lot more withdrawn and, you know, kind of retreat inward, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So you're not as social when you're truly depressed. I notice, like, if I'm depressed, I don't sleep well, and I tend to be up all night and suffer from insomnia, things like this. Maybe even it'll affect your eating habits. Maybe you eat more when you're depressed, trying to fill like a void or fill a sadness, and you might use food, you might use alcohol. Like, there's a hole when you use different types of things: alcohol, food, cigarettes, marijuana, maybe intravenous or other hard drugs, etc., etc. That sort of thing. So depression is different than sadness. Oh, what are you sad for? Well, depression is so much more than just sadness. But another thing with depression is it can come out of nowhere, you know, and somebody might go, well, what's wrong? And you go, well, I don't know. I don't know has to be an acceptable answer. I can't always have an answer why I feel a certain way or why he or she feels a certain way. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So there might be an element of sadness or a wave of depression that has no specific trigger at all. That sort of thing. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It has to be an acceptable answer. Of course you do. You know, if you don't know, who does? Well, I don't know. It has to be an acceptable answer because maybe it's the best one I have or he or she has, you know? The fifth thing is people will often go, well, snap out of it or pull yourself out of it or, you know, Suicide's a pussy's way out. Pussy this, pussy that. It's like, motherfucker, you don't want to die. You just want the pain to stop. So anyone that tells you can just snap out of depression, when depression, that's exactly what depression takes, is the desire and the willingness to fight. That's exactly what it takes in the first place, is that desire and willingness to fight. So it's so fucking tone deaf when go, people that commit suicide are weak, or people that are depressed are weak. No, actually, I would argue that kind of depression is almost like when you've been strong for too fucking long and have no one to lean on. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. But I've been lucky enough, I've learned mental tricks and ways to get myself out of my depressions, and that's something I've been dealing with pretty much all my life, as long as I can remember. You know what I mean? And I have my various reasons for it, which I won't get into right now. But it takes your very desire to fight, and that makes you want to get out of bed every day, or it makes you, like, I noticed, like, lately I've been having some of that morning depression where you're not really depressed, but like laying in bed and finding the motivation to get out of bed. Once you get out of bed and get moving, you're fine. But that initial like morning depression is a common thing for me as of late. I think it's because here where I live, I've been out here 5 years and I don't have a single friend. I don't have a job. I don't really have anything to show for this. And like I said before, because I'm not a weed smoker or a fucking drinker, I feel there's really nothing to look forward to. You know what I mean? And even when you go outside to talk to people, what do they talk about? The same fucking 4 or 5 things over and over again. And a lot of them, they just talk about each other, whoever's not there. So it's kind of beyond going to the movies or going to a concert once in a while or something like that. I really don't have much to look forward to. I went out to a George Thorogood concert recently, and one of the kids sitting there waiting for the bus with me was working at the movie theater that's inside the Palms Casino, and he missed his bus by about 5 minutes. I'm like, let me guess, you're Benjamin? He goes, yeah. And I go, well, you missed your bus about 5 or 10 minutes ago, because they were asking me if I was Benjamin. And so he's calling, and he's on hold, and then finally he gets through, and he had to wait about another half hour, 45 minutes for another bus, easy, before they sent another bus for him. So one of the reasons I never got a job out here is because the bus system and bus transportation system is so slow and so inefficient, I'd never really make it to work anyway. That sort of thing. So, I tend to kind of keep to myself. I weight lift, I exercise, I watch movies, I, practice my language, learning Russian, shit like that, lift my weights, make these videos. I mean, I certainly have things to keep me busy and keep my mind going. But at the same time, it's like you moved for something different, not more of the same. But that's a whole other topic, and I talked about that once before. Don't want to stay on that again. Another thing with depression is it can change your weight. Maybe if you're depressed, you don't eat like normal, so you lose weight and become malnourished. Or maybe if you're depressed and, like I said, you're trying to fill that hole or fill that void, maybe you overeat and eat junk food and eat pizza and burgers and fucking candy bars and processed food and sweets and all the shit that's bad for you, which makes you gain weight. That sort of thing. But let's see, what else? I think I went kind of over everything I wrote down. But no, depression is sometimes something you don't just get over, you know what I mean? And it'll come and go in waves. And then I'll be happy for a while, and then I'll have like a little bit of depression here and there, But that's normal. No, not everything in depression in life has to do with, oh, I'm disabled and I'm depressed about it. Not everything has to do with me being in a fucking wheelchair. Although I will say it kind of ties in the sense that you're forced to kind of live in your own head a lot and live within your own emotions and live in your own head. And sometimes that can be a dangerous place. But no, the wheelchair itself doesn't really make me depressed. And no, I don't go, oh, my life sucks because I'm handicapped. No, bullshit. I don't feel that way, and I've never really thought that way. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. But that's another thing, too. Like, if I do talk about being depressed or being sad, everybody always brings my fucking wheelchair and disability into it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it might force me to live inside my head a little bit more than the average person, but it's not necessarily a source of depression in and of itself. I hate that when everybody assumes you're just always depressed all the time because you're handicapped. I don't really, believe it or not, being disabled and being handicapped, you can tell by watching these videos, if any of you've watched them regularly, that a lot of times my wheelchair's the fucking last thing to come up, you know. But anyways, guys, that's the video for this week. But if you're feeling depressed, feel free to reach out to a friend with a sympathetic ear, or maybe even it's time to maybe get some help and ask someone for some help and look into getting some help for yourself. There's nothing wrong with asking for help when you truly need it. And, you know, for me, I'm a Satanist, and part of Satanism is being your own God. And sometimes in order to be your own God and achieve your own goals, you have to sometimes ask for help in strategic places and strategic times to reach your own highest potential. So if that means you have to be on like a medication or something for depression or go to treatment, then so be it. If that's what helps you attain your own Godhead and be the best version of yourself, then if you have to take a medication like a Zoloft or go to some treatments or something or go to some counseling, there's nothing wrong with that from a standard perspective. So if you're feeling depressed out there, please fucking reach out. Now me, I know how to kind of get out of my depressions, and I know like little tricks. Like I try to get at least say 20 minutes of sunshine every day, you know, because I know light and sun, which we have plenty of that in Vegas. Even when it's hot as fuck, I'll try to go outside at least a little bit every day to get some fresh air. And I noticed that little trick of like 20 minutes a day of sunshine helps. You know, I noticed for me, like the exercise, the weightlifting, and that kind of shit, I used to kind of joke that like, okay, let's replace mental, emotional, and emotional pain with physical pain by exercise, things like that, kind of like as a joke. But I noticed for me, exercise kind of helps me chase away my depression. Weightlifting has helped me chase away my depression and things like this. You know what I mean? It's given me something to look forward to, because there's not really much to look forward to. You can't go to the fucking movies every day. I mean, yesterday I went to the movies, and then the day before I went to the movies. I can't go to the movies every day. And not only that, but you really wouldn't want to. But yeah, yesterday I went and saw that I Know What You Did Last Summer, the new one. It wasn't very good. It was okay, you know what I mean? But they were kind of all the same, you know? But anyways, guys, all right, guys, take care. See you next week. And again, if you're having trouble out there, please reach out. There's no shame in that. Okay? And tune in next week. I'll have something for you. And take care, everybody. All right, bye-bye.